Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Inga Cotton. I'm the founder and executive director of San Antonio Charter Moms. These are Charter Moms chats, and we have a Teacher Tales guest blog post live on our site today at sachartermoms.com. And the author of the post is here with us to talk about what she wrote, talk about her school. So let me introduce Katie Maupin. She's the academic dean at Anne Frank Inspire Academy Northwest Military Campus. So, Katie, thank you for the guest blog post, and thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me on, Inga.
So, well, okay, so I appreciate, I love these teacher tales blog posts because it gives insight into what it's like at a particular school, and especially like what's so unique about Anne Frank Inspire Academy is the inquiry-based learning model. So I like how you talk about that in your blog post. But first, I want to kind of back up and just learn a little bit more about you. And kind of like, what was your path to becoming like a facilitator and then now an instructional leader at Anne Frank?
Yeah, so I wrote a little bit, I think, in the blog post, but just about coming to charter in general was not a path, I'll be honest, that I intentionally was going to take. And a few advocates and big proponents in the San Antonio area really um, intrigued me in looking into charter. And so I landed on Anne Frank and just really wanted to do something different, be a part of something different. And so that's how I became a facilitator here, because it was exactly what I was looking for. And then through that, just becoming a teacher leader, I helped direct our summer experience program, and then shifted into the curriculum and instruction role. So that was a really interesting shift as far as becoming an instructional leader, and then now shifting into the role of academic dean. So that's kind of been the path, and it's been interesting. It's been fun. It's taught me a lot. So I've been really enjoying it.
Yeah. Well, it's great that you've been able to spend time in the classroom, and then working as a leader, like then your classroom time can, kind of inform that. And so I was wondering, can you explain more about what inquiry-based learning
Sure.
is about? And I'm really fortunate because like I guess your boss, Justin, like he's written guest posts for us. And I was really fortunate. I was at the National Charter Schools Conference a couple of years ago, and the
Mhm.
team did a session on it. I just remember like the
Right.
room was packed, everyone was on their feet. It was these are all like adults in education. They were super excited to be part of this. So,
Right.
but yeah, but what is inquiry-based learning?
Yeah, so inquiry-based learning is most easily described as the way that the brain naturally learns. So if you come on a tour with us, one of the things that I like to say in my tours is that you are here on an inquiry yourself. You experience something. You maybe saw a live stream for San Antonio Charter Moms. You maybe drove by the school, saw an ad, and it activated your knowledge. And so it kind of sparked that thing where you thought, I'm going to dig into that a little bit more. I'm really interested. And so then you explore, you go on site, you ask questions, and then you create. So you create a idea, a thought. You create maybe some more questions, and then you leave the tour with you're going to share with someone. So maybe that is some family members, a close friend or a confidant, and you share and then you reflect. So think back on the experience, what you learned, and then it just continues on. So that's the cycle of inquiry based learning. It's the way that the brain naturally learns. And we want our students to experience inquiry because it gives them a real life experience, situation, and all of the learning that can come through that experience. And they really kind of take the driver's seat and have autonomy and choice in their learning. So it's really interesting and exciting to see, because from age kinder up to 12th grade, they're going through this process and coming up with questions and coming up with ideas and thoughts and creating things that are just so incredible for, I say for their age, but really it's just incredible to see in general. One of our mottos is the brain that does the work does the learning. And we truly believe that, with having our teachers be more facilitators and facilitating the learning so that students have a more student-led component and a much smaller teacher-led component, because we want them to drive the exploration.
Yeah. Well, that's okay, and that's a great transition to my next question. And you mentioned this in the blog post, and I thought it was really important to come back to this. The that okay, so there's 9 week periods, right?
Yeah,
Those sort of the grading periods, but then at the end of each grading period, like the goal is that the students present their projects, and there's
yeah,
like a showcase where they present their projects, and so that aspect, and then also the fact that the conferences are student led. I feel like those were both kind of unique aspects about and for so can you talk about, like, the 9-week projects and
yeah.
how the students showcase their work?
Yeah, absolutely. So at the end of every 9 weeks, we have student led conferences. So we have 4 quarters, so 4 student led conferences. And our middle schoolers and our high schoolers that have been through the process, they start off being totally student led because they've learned the skills that they need and that are required for leading those, having the conversations. And there may be a few guiding questions provided for parents just to kind of dig a little bit deeper, but for the most part, they know what to do. For our younger kiddos, so kinder through 5th grade, it starts off with a little bit more support, and then gradually throughout towards the end they are 100% leading it as far as giving the introductions to the class, to the parents, and then getting attention back and saying here's the next part. They all, I mean, kindergarten up, are leading these conferences. So we invite families in to see their work that they've done throughout the 9 weeks, where they started and then where they were headed. So they talk about their challenges, they talk about what they've learned, how it's going to help them in the future, and skills that they were excited to acquire that may have been a challenge, and then they get to show them off. So they do those in their conferences, and then there's always a gallery at the end where they have their inquiry projects set up, or it may be an experience throughout, like our museum that I wrote about in the post. That was a student-led experience by middle school, and they the parents get to go and experience those and see what they've created. That's accumulation of all of the knowledge and content that they gained throughout that 9 weeks is all put into that project. So math, science, social studies, English language arts is all wrapped into that project, and it falls within a subject under an overarching topic that they were given, and they get to pick their subject and explore that and apply all of their content to their project.
Yeah, I can see how that really relates back to the example you gave earlier about, like, like a parent coming on a tour, and like that's the inquiry process, right? It's like they have a question. So and then so I guess, like, yeah, each student, and when they work on their project, like they have a particular question that they're trying to solve, right? And so there's structure to it because there's an overall theme, but within that they get to ask themselves like what they're curious about. And that's
Yeah.
yeah, they're gonna apply themselves more to it because they had some choice
And
about
it's what's
how to.
important to them a lot of times, something that's urgent in their life that they want to spread a message about or share more about, or there was something that sparked their interest in a particular lesson and they just clung to that, and that's what inspired them and sparked that flame a little bit, and that's the path that they can go down.
Yeah, and the fact that, a particular project can involve, like, a lot of different academic subjects, that's so much more like what the real world is like rather than, it's like,
Absolutely.
"Okay, well, this math ends, now it's English." It's like, no, in real life, it's all interconnected.
Right. I mean, take cooking or baking, for example. That's an experience that can be enjoyable or frustrating, right? And so there's learning that happens through it. There's math, there's reading, there's creating something, there's, maybe I put too much salt in this. And so that's a great example of what it's like.
So something I wanted to circle back to, like, so, one thing I love about Inproject is that y'all are very intentional about talking about the mission and vision,
Yes.
and so, right, like the inspire, find joy, be great, and then also like the vision of like wanting to reimagine and transform global learning. And I was wondering, like, anyway, I couldn't resist asking you about like the 9 week project stuff, but I was wondering, can you talk more about how does inquiry based learning connect with like those, the big picture stuff, like the mission and vision?
Right. So to reimagine and transform global learning, we want to take a more non-traditional approach as far as the student-led. The teacher-led is a model that I think is kind of losing popularity, I will say. But as far as just reimagining, we want our students to have more choice and voice in what they do. And we believe that by allowing them those freedoms, and also just within our culture, our students have more freedoms and more autonomy, and to really let them have that reign really transforms, I think, their own thinking and how they go out into the world. And just today, we had promotion ceremonies. So kinder, fifth, and eighth grade were all promoted to the next grade level. And one of our eighth grade students, who's sadly not returning next year, but he had a wonderful speech and talking about how he came in and had one kind of mindset, and then he's leaving and he said, I have a totally different mindset because of the people who poured into me here and really tried to change that mindset and my view on education. And so now I'm leaving with that. And that was so powerful because that's just truly a testament to what we're trying to achieve. And to hear, an eighth grade student share that was just really impactful.
Yeah. Well, and like side note, like I encourage families to like, if you're curious about Infrake, really go on a tour because like you're talking about the non-traditional aspects of it, that, this like student-led, students have choice, that even in like the physical way that the campuses are formatted, right? So, I mean, I
Mhm.
think in particular, the campus on Bandera Road was built specifically for Anne Frank,
Right.
but and
Mhm.
I haven't been inside the Northwest Military Campus since
Well,
it
come on
switched
down,
over to being
Anita.
Anne Frank. Yes, I know I need to go. Yeah, but but it's the idea is that students should like it's like I don't know, traditionally the way school has been run, the kids have so little autonomy about their bodies. Like they're
Yes.
put in a certain place, they have to hold their bodies in a certain way,
Right.
and that can interfere with learning. You're
Mhm.
spending so much time just thinking about how you're supposed to sit, and then
Right.
when you get a chance to be creative.
Right. Absolutely. So, I mean, yeah, it's one of those things we as adults have standing desks. Adults sit crisscross on the floor and do work. And to expect our students to sit in one way, in one place, is just not conducive to their learning, we believe. I believe, because, I'm a floor sitter when I do my work. And so I don't want to be held to that expectation of having to sit in a desk for my best learning and my best creativity. And I don't want to hold my students to that same expectation, because we want to do what's best for them and let them know that they have the choice. If as long as we can be safe, respectful, and responsible, as we're doing it, then yeah, you have that choice. You have that freedom.
Yeah, I'm notorious for pacing.
Pacing, yeah,
Sometimes sometimes I just have to get up and walk around. I'd be like, "Just ignore me, I'm not trying to bug you, I just would." Yeah, so back when I was
right,
worked in a coworking space, they're like, "Oh, yeah, it's just Inga, she's pacing." Yeah. Just what I need.
exactly,
Yeah, yeah, and, well, great, yeah, yeah, that I think that I appreciate how you're explaining like what's unique about Anne Frank. This is what's exciting for me about covering all the different schools for SHR moms is like talking about unique learning models and emphasizing what's different about them, and then hopefully that will get families and students can get curious and think,
right,
hey, what would it be like if I didn't have to just sit in my desk all the time? What if I had
absolutely,
flexible seating, or if I wanted to go deep into a project, I get to choose within constraints, choose what the topic is.
yes, absolutely, and just finding what best suits your needs, what you are looking for in a school, because not all schools are that way. Every school has something that makes them unique, and every family is looking for something that is unique and catered to what they need. So, and we absolutely understand that.
Yeah. Um, one thing I know, well, I know from talking to you like offline, like you when you mentioned about like how you found out about Infrink and
Mhm.
wanting to work at a charter school, and that that you believe that having different schools with different models is important, and charter schools give school leaders, school founders opportunity to differentiate, and
Yes.
so can you talk more about like how like coming to Infrink and like learning more about school choice that's made you more of a supporter of charter schools, and like why we need unique learning models.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that um, education is not a one size fits all. all of our learners need different things. We as adults need different things. Families are looking for different things. And school choice really offers that flexibility. One thing coming in as a teacher that just really intrigued me and inspired me was the autonomy and just getting to teach in a more flexible way. And that just really resonated with me initially. And then as we went through and I learned more about inquiry and the benefits of letting students have that autonomy and having that engagement, how that increases just the depth of their knowledge. And like I said, the engagement, it really is impactful. And so getting to have that choice and voice as a administrator, as a teacher, as a student, as a family, I mean, it's full circle. So it just helps. I just feel that it helps you find what is your best fit. And like like our three imperatives, belong, find joy, and be great, we truly believe that. And being a school choice, you have to find where you belong, and what we try to bring a joy to learning, and all of that helps us to all be great.
Um, well, I know you shared the story about the at the 8th grade promotion ceremony, the student talking about how his mindset had changed. Can you think of other stories that kind of demonstrate what the school culture is like at Anne Frank and help people understand like what it's like to work there?
Absolutely. Yeah. So we really just work to foster that family feel, that student led feel. We have different activities throughout the year, community events that are student led. So we have a fall fest in the fall that is all completely student led by our student council. And those students pick a theme early on, and then they develop it as they go throughout the fall semester. And so they set everything up, they send out the flyers, and they help with just all of those aspects. And so that's one big part of our culture, is just like I said, the student led. And then also bringing in that family feel, so bringing in families, having summer experience, having different opportunities for our students to meet older students, younger students, and build those relationships in a positive way that really maybe takes a middle schooler who maybe does have a stinkier outlook, right? And they find that first grade student that they built a bond with, and they really felt like a mentor. And so that's something that I've seen that's been really impactful. We've also had Collaboration Day. That's an on-campus learning experience that we do that is intended to focus on building relationships, and it really sets the tone for what is important the rest of the year is collaboration, because you're collaborating with your classmates. Collaboration is difficult, and we want them to really understand that and experience that. Our middle schoolers just did another project that they were doing cross grade level collaboration. So 8th graders were paired with 6th graders and 7th graders, and they were on a team. And when asking them what was the hardest part about this project, they said, working together. It was kind of hard. And so collaboration, but we talk about that. That's one of our core values. And so we work to foster that culture and that compassion as we go throughout the year. And that's what we really, really focus on.
So as you talk about these unique things, right? Like, having a festival, bringing people together, having students be involved in the planning, students having to collaborate with each other. I think as I listen to the concerns that parents have and things that they bring up in the Facebook group, I think parents and also like employers, they're worried about like how will kids learn the skills to work together?
Right.
How will they learn to listen and understand? Because the tendency, I think, more and more is that we spend time online, we spend time on our devices. People would be more isolated. I was already a grown adult by the time I got a smartphone. So, but younger people, they get a hold of smartphones before they have really fully developed their social
Right.
skills. So, which means that as adults, like as me as a parent or y'all as educators, like you have to be more deliberate about, creating situations where the electronics go away, and the
Mhm.
students have to work together with a common purpose, and
Yes.
it either succeeds or fails depending on whether they are able to collaborate.
And we want them to have that productive struggle. I mean, as adults, like I said, it's difficult to collaborate sometimes. It's difficult to be intentional and purposeful and build that connection. And so instilling those skills in our students and not shying away from the questions and from the responses of it was hard to work together. That was the hardest part. And you know what? This part didn't get done because something came up. And so talking through those problems and solving them in ways that they can overcome them, and not shying away from that, because that's not real life. We want them to experience that. We want them to take on the skills needed to make it through a tough team situation, because it's not going to be the first time they experience it, and it's not going to be the last time they experience it.
Yeah, and better for them to experience that productive struggle when they're, in school and the stakes
And
aren't
it's
as
like,
high as
yeah,
if they're at their job or it's a
yeah,
college project or, right, that yeah, the
absolutely.
stakes go up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, and exactly, and we know that those mistakes are gonna happen, and we want them to learn through those mistakes, because it makes it relevant.
Yeah, yeah. Wow, Katie, I really appreciate how, like, I feel like you're doing a great job of explaining, like, inquiry-based learning and what these benefits are and how, like, how it could really help kids and why it's so relevant now for, the problems that we see as parents that, right, that folks see in the community of, like, how do we shape our young people? Like,
Right,
I think I worry sometimes when I see education that's very structured, and I worry about once students leave that highly structured environment, um,
right.
how will they come up with ideas? How will they build teams? How will they, motivate people
Manage
to join them?
themselves.
Yeah, yeah. Which means that there may be more struggle and it may be a little harder to understand, like, okay, is this real? Is this really school? Is this how school works?
Right,
But hopefully it's creating, like, alumni graduates that are more independent thinkers and that,
right.
um, know how to find things that they're excited about, that they want to, that those they want to find the problems in the world that they're going to solve. And that's how they find their purpose.
Absolutely, and that's one of our core values as well, as innovation. And so we have innovation in our approach to education. We have innovation in our structure. So we don't have bell schedules, so that there is teacher choice in the way that, I mean, we give them an outline and there's something mapped out, but then they're able to, within that, figure out what works best for them and their groupings, and make their teaching really intentional and purposeful, and make time for experiences for students within the school day. And then two, just like I said, the flexibility. And so in the self-management piece is, we don't have a bell schedule for middle school and high school. And it's different, and it is a challenge. And it's, again, just a conversation of, you know, this is a freedom that you have. And so here's ways that we can set ourselves up for success by setting ourselves an alarm. You are more than welcome to go outside and take a 5-minute break on the basketball court, but set an alarm because you have class coming up and you need to make it to class. And our high school is really run like a college. So by the time students have left our high school, we're, hopefully they have the skills, but we're confident that they are given those freedoms early on in a place where it is safer and more structured to take those risks and make those mistakes and learn from them, than before they're sent out into the real world and do go to college. So they learn all of that as they go.
Yeah, yeah. Those are, I don't know, for families with young children, they may not appreciate how important that is, but I have teenagers, and so, like, the productive struggle and, like,
Yeah,
learning to, like, let go a little bit, see what happens, and then go check and go, "Oh, okay, that didn't work, don't do that again." And then,
right.
right, but hopefully there's real learning, from it, and then it
Yeah,
makes a more robust person.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, okay, so I love these stories and I don't want to cut you off. I do it, but before
It's
we
okay.
close out, I want to be sure to share, like, how people can get in touch and things like that.
Yes.
But is there anything that we didn't cover yet that that you talked about in your post or
Not that I can think of. I mean, I could talk about Anne Frank forever, but definitely just inquiry-based learning is so important, and letting students have that freedom and flexibility we think is so important. And it's worth, it's worth exploring. It's worth a shot. So
Yeah, yeah. Well, and my advice to parents, or if there's like, middle schoolers thinking about where to go to high school, like, go and visit. And I mean, I know the school year is ending soon, but right. And then but y'all have the summer experience program that's kicking
yes.
off, right?
And we will be doing summer tours at both campuses. So if you are interested in scheduling a tour, learning more, I think that, yep, there it is, annefrankia.com. You can go there and schedule a tour through our online inquiry form. And so there's inquiry again. So that will lead you to schedule a tour at either campus. And those will be going through the summer, and they'll be going all through the fall. So definitely come down and take a look.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's great to yeah, it's good. It's really important to see it for yourself, meet the people, and I've been so impressed with like the students that I've had a chance to observe and talk to, like how much poise they have, how curious they are, and how eager they are to talk about what they picked for their project, and um, it's a really impressive group of kids. So, yeah, I'm proud of the work that you guys are doing at Infrank to keep students learning in this inquiry based model.
Yeah. Well, we are too. We're excited, and we believe in what we do, and we're just proud of our kids and our students and our staff.
Yeah. Well, great. Well, I feel like what a great way. This is actually our last live interview of this school year, and so then like our team's going to kind of go quiet a little bit. We're already planning stuff for the fall, but I feel like this is just a great note to kind of end and close things off on. Talking about inquiry based learning. I hope everybody goes and asks lots of good questions this summer.
Yeah,
And
explore.
yeah, 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 and also ending on the note of like, this is why we do what we do, is that it's important to have lots of different models, including inquiry-based learning, so that every student, every teacher, every family can find the community, the school community that feels like family for them.
Absolutely.
Great. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Katie. I really appreciate your blog post. I look forward to. I've got more questions. So anyway, once we wrap up the interview, I'm going to message you because I have more ideas, more stuff I want to work on. So
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. That sounds great. Well, thank you for having me on. This has been a lot of fun.
thank you. Okay. Take care.
All right.